Sir?
Yes?
Sir?
Please tell me that task I set you to has been taken care of.
Yes, sir. I've received word that the crack has been distributed.
And the anti-crack PSA?
Begins shooting this afternoon. We've secured Danielle Brigoli and Lil Xan as the spokespersons. It's set to follow the next Medea installment.
Excellent, nameless assistant.
My name is actually...
So what was so important that you couldn't knock?
Sir, it's... them.
Them who? The left? Have they finally moved beyond the confines of their silly safe spaces in search of yet another gender?
No, it's...
No, wait. Don't tell me it's yet another teen rallying other teens against our country's Second Amendment rights like in that flick about the hungry children.
I'm afraid this issue won't be so easily undermined.
Oh my Christian God. Do you mean?
I do.
The blacks. Damn them. But wait. It's still February. That means they're going to be, or they should be, too busy patting themselves on the back to get upset about things.
Well, normally yes, but they're really upset this time. They demand justice.
I swear, if it's not one thing, it's another. You know, I can remember a time when all those people wanted was a drinking fountain. And now look, it's like we claim the Native Americans used to say, give them an inch and they'll take your land from you or something.
Yes. Well, it seems one of their own, an unarmed youth by the name of Nathaniel, was recently neutralized, fatally, during a routine traffic stop. The officer responsible has been placed on paid administrative leave. With pay. On leave.
Well, there you have it. What more could they want? 40 acres and a mule? Those brave men and women in blue cannot effectively enforce our laws if they're incarcerated or on administrative leave. Now, if those people are expecting anything more than the former happening, they'll be just as disappointed with the result as they were with our response to Hurricane Katrina. Integrates.
What should we do?
Well, lucky for you and the rest of this country, I'm no stranger to jungle warfare. Now, what do we know about the suspect?
The victim was at 23...
No. None of that uppity nonsense. Which drugs was he on? Which set did he rep? How many children did he sire but neglect to raise? We need to give our boys over at Fox News something to run with. I don't care how small.
I'm afraid there is no such gang activity to speak of, or orphaned children. We do have a short clip of him giving a sandwich to a homeless man.
Perfect. Oh, I can see the headlines now. Local hometown deputy opens fire on vigilante crime enthusiast. Oh, we'll start one of those online fundraisers and throw money. I mean, anonymously donate to whomever's making the most money until they quiet down. If it worked fine for the Germans after the Holocaust, it'll work fine now.
Praise Christian God for the Germans and their often misunderstood but ultimately beneficial lessons in knowing what's best for society. Sir, excuse me, but I feel this is only a temporary solution. What if, now hear me out, what if instead of subverting the blacks, we used our considerable resources and influence to actually help?
I'm gonna stop you right there. Before you make the same tragic mistake as that poor young man whom you've recently replaced. You see, shortly before his untimely and very sudden departure, he too began asking such questions. The report said he'd fallen ill. Oh, and ill he was. Incurably so. In his arrogance, he'd allowed his mind to become infected with something much more rampant and contagious than anything we could have ever hoped to inflict or create against the blacks. And as we both know, we've inflicted a great deal upon them. I'm speaking, of course, of the idea of racial equality. Cornelius Vanderbilt, one of the three great pioneers of this land, was very clear. Under no circumstances are we to treat the blacks equally. The opposite, however, is encouraged.
Sir, forgive me, but why would Cornelius Vanderbilt, or anyone for that matter, care so passionately about upholding such a divisive and frankly outdated way of thinking? As I see things now, I think it's truly for the best that we actually help those people.
Help them. Let me tell you a story. When I was very young, my father woke me in the dead of night. All he said was, "It's time you knew." Before I knew it, I found myself on a private flight headed straight to Africa. When I landed, I was taken in by a tribe of African orphans.
African orphans? Were they inspiring?
Of course they were inspiring! But after the initial novelty wore off, it all became clear to me. The reason why equality will forever be our foe. Will forever be our foe. If we were ever to allow the blacks to realize their true power, it would mean the end of everything we, the 1%, have built. The Negro species is without a doubt the most dangerous and life-threatening predator we as humans have ever encountered.
Are they not also human?
Of course those melanin monsters aren't human. How can they be? American science proves that the Negroid musculature is unique in its physical adaptability, meaning they build more muscle and faster than any other subhuman species. Display an impossibly high resilience to physical and mental stress. And they're women, more fertile than volcanic soil, more supple than Eve before the fall.
If that weren't enough, they also seem to be able to control
the very aging process itself. And while black might not crack, whips certainly do, and crack they did. This is war.
Make no mistake.
We elites drew our line in the sand back in the 1500s when we saw fit to round them up by the boatload and deliver them here to our homeland. Hundreds of years of slavery was the only way that we could make sure that their potential remained unfulfilled. Now that traitor, Ulysses, and his biscuit-dipping battalion of bluecoats may have unshackled their chains, but for every step forward those savages thought they were making, this administration was there to knock them right back. Redlining, world star hip-hop, sickle cell anemia, the assassination of MLK, BET, it was all us! Victories, if you ask me. Victory in a never-ending and God-given task to eradicate even the slightest chance of them ever learning the truth. God says in the book of Tom, chapter 3, verse 9, to fear that which is dark, my child, for the days shall soon come when it too will rise against the Lord's children, the correct Christian Lord. For only Christ has the power to completely eradicate their proud diaspora and make those fools accept a life of suffering by our rich, capable hands. So, the next time you start feeling guilty, I suggest you treat your conscience like the blacks have been treating mental illness for years. Just bury it down real deep inside, never talk about it, blame Satan, and then tell yourself, God works in mysterious ways.